Hello, hello, hello. Okay, it's working a little bit. It's working a little bit. It's working a little bit, but not very much. Come on, come on, come on. You can hear me? Because it doesn't look like it's going up high enough, but is it loud enough? I hope it is. I can see that it's working. It just looks like it's not loud enough on the. Yes, clear, perfect. Thank you, L3. I appreciate you. Jesus, had to run all the way downstairs. Oh man. Stairs are either going to kill me or save me, one or the other, right? Loud and clear. I appreciate you sticking around for sure, and I appreciate everybody else that stuck around for 10 minutes without any video or sound. I got enough. I have enough people trying to get at me right now that I don't need them trying to get at my wife. So I cut the camera off for her. Hey, not even sure where I was, but I was in it. It was going so well. I was in it, having great conversations. There were some great questions. Oh, I can't even do this. I forgot you can't hit your vape on here, so I hit it off the screen. There we go. All right, where were we? Move all this shit. Okay. Oh, L3 Media Group. I gotta check you out because I know your name, but I don't know if you put out content or what. You could definitely read lips, that's for sure, because you were hearing what I was saying, or seeing what I was saying rather. Jesus, I'm fat. I got sweaty just running downstairs to get these other headphones. I didn't even know we had them until she told me. Right? We talked a while back and I ended up hooking up. GT. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. You're the one that went out of Grantville with them. I got you. I got you. That's right. I have a bad memory, man. I can hear you now. I raise Z. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you coming back. I appreciate you sticking around while I was trying to fix the issue. Hey, we solved it, but I wouldn't say we fixed it. Um, just had to get these old plug-in headphones back out. My wife works from home, and I was using her headphones earlier, and I didn't plug them back up to charge, so it's on me, not her, right? It's on me. Yeah, I got to go back to GT's page and check out the most recent Grantville videos. I kind of haven't been keeping up with it. Um, yeah, I know that uh, ticket they gave him for filming on the street. I forgot the way they worded it, but I know that they dismissed that. And that's the last bit that I remember. Military life, TBI for military life. Hold on a second. I'm not even going to make you explain this to me. I'm not even going to make you explain this to me. I'm going to. Oh shit. Sound working. Let me audit you. That's right. It is working. Thank God. Appreciate you sticking around and coming back. Um, well, I wouldn't say I fixed it. I would say we found the other headphones. So um, we uh, we made do. KDZ tried to call me and talk me through it, but nothing was working. Nothing was working. Um, I don't remember exactly where we were, but I was on a spiel about something, which is easy for me to do, is to get on to a spiel about, you know, pretty much anything. I had to wear an Iron Maiden shirt. Factual, factual. I uh, I actually used to buy and sell vintage T-shirts, and still have a few. This one's not a vintage T-shirt. This is a reproduction, a newer T-shirt, but I do have some old band tees. You were in the parking lot and Chief Harmon just walked in. He did. Chief Harmon walked in. He didn't look at me. That's where we were. You were, God, see, L3 Media Group. Me and you need a memory like KTZ. Um, so Chief Harmon pulled in. He didn't look at me. He just walked in the building. The female corporal, that's where I was. She pulls in. Did I get to that point? I think I got to that point. We talked about the weather. Yeah. Yeah, we talked about the weather. Then I walked back home. I was talking about why I'm giving them a break. That's where we were. You know, I guess I'm just giving them a break to let this situation handle itself and see how they're going to handle this situation. Again, I guess if I was one of the I hate all cop guys, then I would just be going after him still as much as I can. But that's not really what it's about for me. You know, to each their own. For me, I found a bad cop. I exposed the bad cop, and now we're going to figure out if they're going to deal with the bad cop. So that's where we're at now. I was hoping that we'd get some, you know, some decent questions. I know that we've had a couple. You know, from the outside looking in, let's say that I was watching this content on somebody else's channel, the exact same story, right? But it's somebody else. I imagine I would have a lot of questions. Whether I would ask them or not, I don't know, because normally I stay out of people's business for the most part. Um, but I would have a lot of questions. Um, you know, if you have questions about my case, I could answer those now, or you could go to KTZ's channel and just watch the entire uh, story about my case. You know, she did an amazing job in that interview. She spent days going over paperwork before we did that interview, and I think I went back and watched that interview recently, just in the last, was it yesterday, I believe, and yeah, I'm really happy with how that interview turned out, and I'm glad We the People University pinned it in his um, description, in his video that he covered on the Aud video. He pinned um, that interview, and that's important to me that he pinned that one, because KDZ was actually the first person to allow me a platform to tell that story, and two, so people could hear the story. Um, so if We the People University ever, you know, anybody ever watches this that follows them or knows them, tell them I said thank you for that, especially. The weather's terrible here in Hawaii right now. How can the weather be bad in Hawaii? I guess, you know, volcanoes and shit, right? Stick his name out there. Stick his name out there. That was a good video that he did. Um, the fear that I have right now, and I don't want a bunch of larger channels to cover this just so I get more exposure. I want larger channels to cover this so the situation gets more exposure, so that AUG gets more exposure. Um, I fear that some of the larger channels might shy away from it because of my charges. I don't know that, but I fear that may be a problem. Um, some of them might not want to deal with it because of that, and hey, teach their own. Um, but you know, every view that every channel gets on a situation like this um, leads to one more person making a complaint, one more person going to a Facebook page and voicing their grievance. You know, just each view can make a difference. You know, with the Emerson situation, had the pressure not been put on them on Facebook, had the pressure not been put on them on phone calls, had the pressure not been put on them on emails, um, they would have probably not handled it the way that they did. But because it was recorded, because it went viral, it got handled the right way. So views matter. Um, you know, you have no idea what you said 7 months ago. Well, you did call me a frauditor. um, mm, you were still friends with man, I don't even want to mention his name. I let's talk about him. You know what? Let's talk about him, because when I first went viral with the Emerson video, I had no idea that there was a community of people that hated auditors and called us frauditors. Had no idea that that community ever existed until Michael Kiser. aka Fraudit Wrangler. Now, I watched some of his don't forget us smaller channels. KDZ, you're taking off. All right, you have great content. Um, so no, uh, GT and J Town, it's J Town Press. Georgia Transparency. We went out and did some stuff together. I wanted to meet him. One because I like his content, and two, I kind of wanted to see how he went about things. I typically don't go out um and audit just random places, especially these days. I've done it with GT. I've done it on my own, at the prison. Um, but now I think, and it's going to be very little content, but I'm going to have to let situations come to me, I believe. Um, but Georgia Transparency has exposed a lot of corruption in a lot of different places. Um, Georgia Transparency, that's why he's gotten so much hate from the Frauditor community, um, because he does such a good job of exposing, not only bad policing, but bad government officials altogether. Um, so to have him and have J Town Press and have KTZ and a lot of people that are backing me, and just every comment that comes in saying, "Hey, we got your back," things like that. That means a lot. Not only does it not only do I feel the support, but it it almost helps me heal a little bit, because I'd sit here and say, "Oh, I don't care," what people think and say. For the most part, that is true. But at times, just like when Og said what he said out the window, it enraged me. Let me take my glasses off so you can see my eyes, because it enraged me. And I didn't know that was such a touchy subject until I kind of was removed a couple days from this whole situation and looked back and wondered why. Because I promised myself the next opportunity I got to expose a bad cop, I was going to remain calm. I wasn't going to lose my cool. And that didn't happen here. I don't regret anything I said or did. Um, but after the way I cussed Emerson out, and everything I said to Emerson was calculated. Nothing was off the cuff or just out of rage or anything like that. He did piss me off, uh, and when I do get pissed off, I do tend to cuss a lot. It is what it is. The only person that doesn't ever, well, there's a lot of people that don't feel my rage, but the main person that has never had to deal with my rage is my wife. And I'm not a rager, I'm not I don't have anger issues, but certain things, like, one, I have a bullshit meter inside of me, right? And if you feel that bullshit, each person has a bullshit meter inside of me. So you have a bullshit meter inside of me. He has a bullshit meter inside of me. You all have your own separate bullshit meter inside of me. And when you fill that bullshit meter up, you don't need to get called a dipshit 27 times. Okay. Um, but where was I? I promised myself that I wasn't gonna lose it, and a couple of days removed from the situation, I had to sit back and realize maybe I'm not over, you know, everything that I thought I was over. Maybe I do still have some triggers about that situation, and that's okay. But each comment of support, um, it, it does help. It does help to heal. It does help to know that people have my back. Um, has had a few videos. Michael Kiser has had a few videos. That's what I was talking about. Fraud Wrangler. So I got introduced to that community when he covered the Emerson video. He also covered my prison audit video and arrest. But I had no idea that those guys existed. You know, I thought everybody loved the Constitution and loved exposing corruption. I will admit there are some auditors that are horrible human beings. I'm not going to name names because that's not my place. That's not my uh, you know that has nothing to do with me. But I have no problems admitting that some of the people in the auditor community not only have horrible backgrounds, but go about it horribly, go about what they're trying to do horribly. A lot of them are e-beggars. Um, you know, so I did when I first found out about the fraud at Wrangler type people. I started watching some of their content, and I didn't agree with them, on most things, but there were some things that I did agree with them about. Um, and then shortly after he covers my videos, Michael Kiser gets exposed, which happened over months. Like at first, Michael Kiser, fraud at Wrangler, got exposed for um, murder charge that he had, and apparently he was acquitted of, or they dropped it. I'm not sure about that, and I won't speak on it because, I'm not going to speak on somebody's charges that if they weren't found guilty. Um, we know he was found guilty of theft. You know, he does have a criminal record, and that's okay too. That I don't hate him for. You know what I hate him for the most? Stolen valor. When I heard the videos of Michael Kiser claiming all this military service, claiming to have been uh, hit by a roadside bomb or something in a Humvee, um, and like just that he had had this war record and was a decorated military veteran. When I found out that that was not true at all, that he washed out of boot camp because of something, wrong with him, that he didn't even make it through basic training, I that's when I decided he was a piece of shit. That's when I decided fraud at Wrangler, aka Michael Kiser, aka Hey Mikey, he likes it since he likes to give people names. That's when I decided he's a piece of shit. You got a criminal history, cool. If you did your time, you did your time. You got charges that are horrible that you got dropped or were acquitted of, doesn't matter to me. But you still valor when you claim to be a veteran and claim to have had this great military service. You lose way more respect with me for that than anything else. Um, my brother is active military. He's Army. He's actually a captain in the Army. Chris Kiros. I probably shouldn't have said his name, but fuck it. He doesn't even have social media, so look him up. Um, he he is a war veteran. Um, he's never been wounded in combat, but he's spent his life. Let's see, he's 5 years older than me, so he's 41. He spent 23 years, 23 years, um, you know, fighting for this country, just serving his country, and for somebody to claim that type of service and turn out that you're a lying piece of shit, that's where I actually lost all respect for him. Again, I didn't agree with him on everything. I didn't agree with him on most of his takes. I did agree with him on a couple things, but I lost respect for him after that. But fuck Michael Kiser, to be honest with you. I wanted to say that since this is really one of my first times, and don't expect me to be doing live often. This is not something I'm going to be doing. This is really probably a rare occurrence. If another situation like Emerson or Og happens, you might see another live. But this is me going live just to possibly give some people a chance to come in and ask a question about it, or voice their concern, or tell me great job, or tell me fuck you. I don't care. Um, and I wanted to talk about kind of the interactions I had today and the upcoming interview with the news channel. Um, those are things I wanted to hit on too. Hit the like button again, peeps. I appreciate that. You guys are great. You guys are great. He said he'll be back in a minute. He can take his time. That man's always busy putting together a great video. Diet Coke sucks. Mandatory medical retirement after 24 years. I take it seriously. Yeah, man. You know, I don't know why. I mean, it's I think it's a natural thing for me to be that upset about stolen valor. I think it's one of the most egregious things that you can do outside of what I was accused of. Um, I think that's probably the most egregious thing you can do is rape and child molestation. But next to that, I put stolen valor, um, because for hundreds of years, people have fought and died for this country. People have been maimed, horrifically mangled, and had to live with, terrible wounds for the rest of their lives if they didn't die. Um, and people have had horrible mental issues, um, coming back from wars, all wars, and to claim that you're one of those people, and then to turn out you're really a pill popping, thieving piece of shit is pretty egregious in my book. Um, you should go live often. You're good at the talking part. Tech stuff we can figure out. For fuck's sake, hey, for fuck's sake, I don't know what I would talk about if I didn't have to talk about Odd or Emerson, right? Um, but we could find some things to talk about. I don't think I'll do it often. I may do it every once in a while. Um, when I can figure out StreamYard, now Katie Zed's going to help me with that. She doesn't know it yet, but she's going to help me with that. I'm back listening in the GTNN server now. Georgia Transparency News Network. Go and check them out. When I can figure out StreamYard and I can figure out how to, which I'm sure it'll be easy. I just haven't messed around with it yet. To play videos. So this says pop out dashboard. I don't want to click it because I might fuck something up, right? But I know there's ways to, OBS and Restream. I might have to pull that out then. I downloaded StreamYard, but I haven't even messed with it. You know what I mean? Uh, I might, you know, react to videos. That might be something that I decide to do. Um, I don't know. We'll see. Katie says I'm good at the talking part. Yeah, you know. Um, what's up, Sam? StreamYard works great. I mean, I messed around with it a little. I opened it up and just kind of looked around and scrolled my cursor over this and that just to see what it did, and that's kind of it. I went live the other. I don't even remember what day it was. I think it was the day after the incident. I went live for a few minutes, and then I just kind of cut it off. Because one, I didn't have any information. I hadn't talked to any officers. I really just wanted to talk about what had happened, but I hadn't told the story yet. So I decided during that live, I was about to tell the whole story during that live of the charges that I went through, but I decided it would be better to just, since I was getting the body worn camera anyway, to edit a video together with the story, the body worn camera, my camera, and just tell it that way. So I just ended that live. But I definitely want to mess around with StreamYard and figure out how to pop up. I might react to some videos on live or something like that. But it's you know, like I said, I'm not going to be actively out um, pursuing content per se. If it presents itself to me, I'm definitely going to take advantage of it. So I guess to come live, I would have to have somebody else's content to react to or something. Um, I hear like OBS is StreamYard for dummies. That means it'll work for me, eh? Oh, for fuck's sake. Northern Corruption Monitor 907. Hit that thumbs up for this freedom fighter. Thank you, Georgia. Thank you, Sam. Thank you. I appreciate you. Yeah, what do I want to cover now? Let's see. We've talked about my interactions with him today. Hell, we even talked about Michael fucking Kiser. Michael fucking Kiser. Let me tell you something about this. Let me get back to Michael Kiser because I can talk about this for a fucking hour, to be honest with you, and I'm not going to. But so I guess he blocked me from his chat. I can watch his videos when I type in to chat. Normally now he has it on subscribers only mode. I subscribed to this motherfucker's channel the other day. Uh, just this was before the odd incident. just because I wanted to leave a comment about the dumb shit that he was saying. And for whatever reason, even as a subscriber, my chats I don't think show up on his feed because not even his viewers are reacting to me if when I say something. I did create a sock account today and sent him a super chat. He got that one, but he didn't react or read it. The reason that he put me on block is because I went in there a couple of months ago and said it's pretty ironic for a thieving piece of shit to be calling out thieving piece of shits, and because he was talking about somebody that was had stolen something that on had uh, theft charges on their record, auditor that had theft charges, and when I said that, he uh he reacted to it. I forgot what he said, but then he said, "And now you get to go where everybody else goes." And from that point on, I haven't been able to comment until I sent that super chat from my soccer account. But you know, and I don't make sock accounts. Like that's the only one that I have, and that's the only reason I have it was to go in there today. I made that sock account earlier tonight during his live, uh, and yeah, at least he got to see what I got to say. So, but again, fuck Michael Kiser. Fuck man. Yeah, he now he so when I got blocked from his chat, anybody could type in his chat at that time. I'm pretty sure he only now he does subscriber only mode, which means if you can only chat if you're a subscriber for 20 minutes or more. Um, that happened after he blocked me from his chat. Yeah, I noticed that all of his videos were like that after that. That's the reason why. And then I stopped watching them. Like I didn't pay attention to none of his shit for a month or two. Every once in a while, if he went live, like maybe 3 times in the last couple of months, he's been talking about uh, for public safety, and I'll go in there and listen to whatever bullshit him and JJ are spewing, and then I'll fucking leave after 2 minutes because I just can't listen to it. You know what I mean? And I think the reason is because he's a stolen valor piece of shit. Is the reason I just can't listen to him, and you know I can't agree with anything he says now. He's a fucking motherfucker. Anyway, well, let's get off of that. Let's get off of him. He's not even worth our breath, right? It is what it is. Everybody's blocked from this motherfucker, right? Can't take criticism on my. Let me tell you about blocking and hiding comments. I got comments today on my personal Facebook page, the one all my friends and family have. I posted on there the link to the video. I said, "Here's the Newcomers Police Department scandal. I don't care if you like me or not. I don't care if you think I'm an asshole or not. I don't care if you think I was guilty of charges that I was acquitted of or not. But to Officer Og, fuck you. Enjoy your next job." Uh, and today, actually a few hours ago, somebody, one of Frauditor trolls guys, because he's the only, well, him and some other channel that is so irrelevant, even more irrelevant than my channel. Um, I watched about 2 minutes of his video and then just stopped because he was chopping it up so much it wasn't even going to make sense. Fit his narrative essentially. Um, but somebody from that community took the AJC article, which if you Google my name, you find the AJC article, and posted it under the comments. And then somebody else posted, "Yeah, he was on meth when he did that." And this guy that said it, I was on meth when I did that, posted it. He's from Scottsdale, Arizona, has no idea who I am. The only thing I can imagine, because I used to be a meth head. I wasn't a meth head at the time that these charges were supposed to have happened. I'd been clean for a long time before that because I had my daughter at the time. Um, I got clean when my daughter was born. So, but the only thing that I can think that he thought I would, or he knew that I did meth at any point was from KTZ's channel because I talked about it on her channel. That's when I got this Colonel Sanders tattoo on my neck. I was geeked out of my mind and Xanax stuff out of my mind. Don't hate me, YouTube, for saying that. Don't turn my sound off again. But that's the only thing I can imagine. He went there and watched that video, and he said that I said that I was on meth when I did it, and then somebody else commented, um, that doesn't matter. He's still, well, the original guy that posted the article under the comment section said doesn't matter. He still raped a 12-year-old, and I didn't delete their comments. I didn't block them off my Facebook page. I left the comments. I responded to one of them. Um, I think I responded twice, um, and I gave one of them a 2 sentence synopsis, and then told him he can go find the video online. But I think that's the one that already watched it. Hey, see all the shit back here that we had to dig through to find these headphones. Um, but for Michael Kiser, that people like him that can't take the criticism. They can't take you disagreeing with them or you exposing them. They're quick to block you, and I think that shows more about somebody's integrity and somebody's uh their integrity, and their transparency, than anything. I haven't deleted the first comment off of any of my videos. I haven't deleted the first comment off the Facebook post. I haven't blocked the first person. You can come in here and call me anything you want to. To be honest with you, I might call you a dipshit 27 times afterwards, but fuck it. Um, King crab. Jesus, we're talking about king crab over here. We can talk about king crab. Yeah, yeah. Somebody's from Alaska, Hawaii. Y'all motherfuckers probably get some good seafood. I'm landlocked. Spell check sucks. Like I haven't used the computer really in so long until I started editing these videos together that I forgot that a keyboard doesn't fucking auto correct for you like your phone does. So I've been leaving out fucking commas and periods, and I haven't been in there since the information dump. Yeah, at first I heard he was a thief, and I heard about the murder charge, and that it didn't necessarily change my opinion of him that much until I saw the stolen valor thing. But I respond. I respond a lot, and somebody in one of the comments said, don't don't let the haters get to you, man. Don't respond to them. Just let them do. Nah, it's not. I don't respond to them because they're getting to me. I respond to them, and typically my responses are meant to demean them intellectually for the most part. Um, Either A, I am telling them how they're wrong, if they're wrong, or B, if they say something just horribly disparaging, I tell them thanks for the algorithm boost. I appreciate it. You can say what the fuck you want uh, to me, except for a cop, because I'm not gonna hit a cop, right? I'm not more. I mean, I can be, but I don't want to be. I will say this about the Og incident that I think I said earlier how enraged I was when he said that out his window. Uh, that was the closest I've been to wanting to physically assault somebody since I was in jail and had to fight, to protect myself. But I knew I wasn't going to attack him because that would have been the dumbest thing in the world. Even though his fighting words, he's the one that committed disorderly conduct by using fighting words meant to make an immediate breach of the peace. Um, but the law wouldn't have seen it that way, right? That never would have worked as a defense, and no matter what he went there and said, if I would have fucking hit him the way I felt like I wanted to, uh, that would have definitely skewed the opinion of many people, but especially the law. So I'm glad that I'm in a place in my life that And I've been in this place. Look, when I was in my early 20s and late teens, I'd fight at the drop of a hat. I went to parties to look for fights. Um, and again, even then, I wasn't like I didn't have anger issues, right? Um, but I did like to fight. And then I went to jail. Even before I went to jail, not maybe it slowed down a lot. Let's see, I was 20. Oh God, I can't remember. I was 28 when I went to jail. 2016, right? Yeah, I was 28, something like that. 28. Um, so by my early 20s, I kind of settled down on the physical violence. Like I'd fight if I had to, but I didn't, try to instigate one or go looking for one. Never picked fights, but I'd talk you into fighting me sometimes. If you upsetted me enough back then, I'd do something to go ahead and get you to swing on me. Uh, and then I went to jail, and not only did I endure and have to commit a lot of violence while I was in there, but I seen a lot of violence while I was in there. Um, and I promised myself that when I got out, I didn't want to experience any more violence, and I haven't been in a fight. Uh, I haven't been around a fight. You know, I haven't. I don't argue with people except for bad cops. Like me and my wife, we have a wonderful relationship. We don't argue. Sometimes I piss her off a little bit, but she never stays mad at me for more than 10 or 15 minutes. Um, when you experience that much violence for that long, and not only are you experiencing it through watching other people fight or get stabbed or whatever, but you have some pretty bad charges, and you're having to partake in the violence. Um, I'll say this: 4 fights in jail in Clayton County Jail in 2 years and 2 months over my charges. 4 fight. Well, 3 were over my charges, and 1 was over a spades game. I'm undefeated in Clayton County Jail. Believe me or not, I don't care. Just like I don't care if you believe me about my charges or not. In Clayton County Jail, in 4 fights, I'm undefeated. The first fight uh, was enough to where I didn't have to fight again for about a year. That was over my charges. That was relatively early on in my stay, and that's where I got the nickname Show. They called me Show for 2 years. That was maybe a month or two in. So for a little over 2 years, my name was Show, except for the officers. They called me by my last name, Kiros. But the reason they called me Show was because me and the guy that got into a fight went into the cell, and we shut the door, and somebody stood in front of the door, and they were basically, if you go into a cell and you're going to fight, you don't want everybody gathered around, right? But somebody's going to stay there at the door, because typically you don't want anybody so fucked up that everybody goes on lockdown. Um, and the guy that stood at the door, after it was over and we walked out, uh, somebody asked him what happened. He said, "White boy put on a hell of a show," because Clayton County is a predominantly African American neighborhood, city, whatever. And so their jail is predominantly black too. I think I might have had 3 other white guys at any given time out of 32 in a dorm. Um, so, which didn't bother me. I get along with everybody. Again, I'm not a white supremacist. Uh, I spent 2 years and 2 months with all different colors: Asians, Mexicans, blacks, whites. Not that many whites, but uh, I can get along with anybody that gets along with me. So uh, when I fought the first time, I think it put a lot of people on notice that, okay, you can't just try him. If you're gonna, if you don't like what he's charged with, or what have you, just don't associate with him. I think is the route most of them decide to go, because I didn't have to fight again for about a year. Um, and then the next fight was also over my charges. The last fight was over a spades game. So you know, Carrie, glad you were in my suggested. I'm glad I was in your suggested videos. I'm definitely gladder than you are. That's not even a word, but I'm using it. I'm going back and reading, some older comments. There's only a few of us in here talking, but that's fine. Uh, yes, talks trash about everybody else, but then Mayor fucking Proctor is on his panel. JJ is on his panel. And if JJ ain't a wife beating piece of shit, I don't know who is. But hey, don't let me accuse anybody of any, false allegations. I don't know, but that's wrong of me to say because I was about to say he looks like it, but really his wife is Wrangler. So if he's not beating Wrangler, he's not beating his wife. Them two fuckers are married. I can't help myself but respond to haters. Sometimes I can't help myself either. You know, they either they're asking for it or you gotta give it to them. I guess I don't know. I have a hard time not responding to them. I don't know if it's just something like a lot of them have been. You're definitely a chomo, or you look like a chomo. What does a chomo look like? The only reason you think that I look like a chomo is because I was accused of chomo, right? But maybe I look like a chomo. I don't know what a chomo looks like. Some people have been telling me it's me. Those I don't respond to. Um, but somebody that tries to, you know, voice their opinion as far as factual bases go, factual bases go. Yeah, I definitely respond to those. If you want to have a talk about facts, you want to go back and forth about facts, you want, you know, trying to bring up things that you perceive as facts that I can prove aren't factual, then I'm definitely going to go back and forth with you. Um, I can get along with anyone who gets along with me. I really, I mean, I can. Uh, I think I give everybody a chance. Like my job, right? Everybody that has a job works with some idiots. There's very few idiots that I work with, but I've been at jobs where there's been some fucking idiots, and I can still get along with them outside of their idiocy. And they might be shitty workers. Let's say I'm working with somebody and they're just a shitty worker. Doesn't mean I can get along with you, even if I have to pick up your slack. If you're a decent fucking human being and we got some common ground, or even if we don't have common ground, we just, you know, can fucking talk and have a conversation, I can get along with you. I give everybody a fair shake. Um, I don't believe that's always been reciprocated, especially since 2016. But my whole life, I've given everybody a fair shake. If you come across me, you were meant to. I feel that way. If I meet you in life, it was destined to happen for whatever reason. No matter how small the meeting is or how insignificant it may seem in life, if I meet you and we have a conversation, that was meant to happen. And I give every uh, person that I come across and have an interaction with not only a fair shake, but I give them my full attention, especially during our first interaction. Because I read people very well. That's something I've actually been able to do my entire life. Is I can read someone within a couple of minutes of talking to them. Sometimes a couple of sentences of talking to them, and that's why I give people my full attention. If I'm having an interaction with somebody, if I meet somebody for the first time, you know, I give you my full attention because either A, I'm going to learn something from you, even if it's a 5-minute meeting and we never see each other again. I might be able to learn something from you. Or B, I might be able to teach you something. You know, was Hill still sheriff? Hey, you know about Vic? Yeah, that was the sheriff. Look, this motherfucker painted a Batman symbol on the wall in the intake room. He had a life-size Batman uniform in his office. This is not like jail rumors. Like you can go find videos where they did interviews with him and see the Batman shit. He literally thought he was fucking Batman. The dude was 4'9", had a voice like this, and was the biggest dickhead in the world. And actually went to federal prison for a little while. Not too long ago, actually. Yeah. Georgia, Victor Hill was a piece of shit. He was a piece of shit. But I tell you what, he ran that fucking jail with an iron fist. They ran it as it was considered a paramilitary jail, so it was ran like the military. Um, you know, with just less quality people, I guess. No shit. You know Vic from when you were a bounty hunter. Yeah. Vic put me on his I think I was number 2 on his most wanted list whenever they put the warrant out for me. Um I watched him. uh, let's talk about Victor Hill for a second, because that's if you're into looking up government corruption, that's actually a very good story to read into. Victor Hill was actually federally charged with abusing inmates, and what they got him for was using the restraint chair as punishment, because it's only supposed to be used to protect the person from themselves or to protect others from that person, and it's only supposed to be used for a certain amount of time, things like that. There's rules on using a restraint chair. um, I never witnessed anything with a restraint chair while I was there. Some of that happened after, but you can look up Clayton County Jail, uh, Clayton County Correctional Facility, or Clayton County Jail, whatever it is. Um, on YouTube, even you can see an officer that throws a guy who's handcuffed and shackled into an elevator. The guy busts his face all up. Um, that I was there for, but it also made news, and that CO was fired. I watched Victor Hill. So one time he used to bring tours, all kinds of tours through there. So when an officer that was a sergeant or above came on the unit, everyone immediately, as soon as they come through the backslide, the sally port, everyone would immediately have to stand up, run and face the wall. If you're taking a shit, you stand up naked, because there's a little bathroom out there, but it's only a 4-foot wall basically. Uh, if you're taking a shit, you stand up, you face the wall, and you sound off "Sarge on deck," or "Lieutenant on deck," or "Sheriff on deck," and he would bring tours in there. People from China. Ric Flair was one of the people that he brought on tour while I was there. Shaquille O'Neal was brought through there on a tour while I was there, along with other people. Shaquille O'Neal was one of his officers. He deputized Shaquille O'Neal. Um, so he would bring tours, other people from other jails to show him how he runs his jail. And there was one time he had a tour coming through there, and the guys in the so it was a circular. Let me do this. It was a circular unit. Each unit, there was 8 different units, and they're all circular, and there's 6 different pods, 32 people in each pod, and you can see basically all the pods. There's big windows across the front of each pod. But the guys in the pod next to ours were apparently like being loud whenever you're supposed to be silent, facing the wall, hands behind your back. They were making noises or something, and it was only a couple of them. So you're talking about 6 pods, 32 people in each pod. The entire pod, after he takes that tour out of that not the entire pod, the entire unit, all 6 pods, after he takes that tour out, he comes back in with the CERT team, and he goes to each pod. The other officers come in and tell us everybody stand and face the wall until you're told not to. I think we were like the 3rd pod that he came into. He went into each pod and said, "You are now on lockdown until I decide you're off lockdown." Um, and in our pod, there was a guy who had some glasses that the officer knew didn't belong to him. I don't know whether he stole them. He was uh, a bit of a bully, I guess. He did have some weight, not size, but I mean he had some pull in there as far as inmates went. I don't know whether he stole them or whether he bought them, but the CERT officer who knew him probably from him fighting and going to the hole or whatever knew those glasses didn't belong to him. So he goes to take the glasses off of his face. The guy yanks his face back, and the CERT team officer grabs him, and then the rest of the CERT team grabs him. And uh, I think he started to pull away from him, and Vic said, "Do it." Next thing you know, they slammed this guy on the ground. Immediately, the other officers that are in there are saying, lock down, everybody lock down." They're kicking, punching. He's on the ground, basically in the fetal position, covered up, and there's 3 or 4 CERT team officers beating the shit out of him. I'm not talking about trying to restrain him. I'm talking about beating the shit out of him. And as they're doing it, I'll never forget, and I can hear his voice to this day. Victor Hill, as we're going to our cells, some people running up the stairs, some people casually walking to their cells, whatever. Victor Hill screaming out while his officers are beating the shit out of a guy. "We can do this every day. Every day. We can do this." And we were on lockdown for 4 days. I didn't get a shower for 4 days. We didn't come out of our cell for 4 days. We didn't get an hour out. In that jail, we were on 22 and 2. We got an hour out in the morning and an hour out at night. That was for 2 years and 2 months that I was there. That time, we didn't come out for 4 fucking days. Uh, you know, he was a fucking piece of shit. Yeah. And proven to be a piece of shit because he was federally convicted of charges. Oh, it's good to see you. I can vouch that I know you're a good dude and always considered you a really good friend. Heard the stories. I can't see your picture. You know what I'm saying? But wait a second. You had the run in with Emerson, right? Didn't you have a run in with Emerson? Maybe. Victor jumped all over the jealous for having his turn. Yes. Yes. Yeah. You were on the scooter. Yeah. 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 You're the first one to expose Emerson, actually, right? No, didn't you posted the video? Yeah. Yeah. You had the video. If I'm thinking we're the same guy, I remember the name. I remember seeing you that one time in town, scooter. No. Okay. You might not be the same. Sparks. Wait a second. Sparks. I know a couple of Sparks. He'll want a shot to go out with my team. I said, hell no. We would all go to the. No shit, Joey. I'm sorry I made you say your whole fucking name. I doxed you. Hey, man. There's somebody that truly knows me. Yeah. I had no idea you were on YouTube, bro. Oh, Victor jumped all over jealous for having us turn in at the visitor lobby. He changed so we could go through with the intake. Yeah, right? Jesus Christ. Victor Hill was a fucking piece of work, bro. He was. Joey Sparks. Man, I won't say your name again. I'm sorry. I'm gonna call you Toxic. He's toxic. Oh, yeah, that was a hell of an experience. When you said you heard the stories, I was like, wait a second, this guy has to have known me if he's heard the stories, because I've told the stories before, especially to the people that know me, right? Uh, you know, but I appreciate all you guys, coming in and listening to me vent and listening to me talk and going through the situation that we went through earlier with the other live and the fucking technical difficulties. It is what it is, though. And I'm sorry that you guys had to hear about fucking Michael Kiser for 20 minutes, but fuck Michael Kiser. How about that? Fuck you, Mikey. That might be what I do on live is fucking start exposing that piece of shit. He absolutely did. He loved those tours, bro. Those tours, they would come around and tell us, "There's a tour coming up this week." Um, we used to have to the toilet paper. So you went through. I'm here telling jail stories, but that's where we're at right now on this live, and I'm about to end it because I got to go to sleep. But uh, I'll tell you this last Victor Hill story about Clayton County Jail. When you first come into the jail, or when you go to the hole and you come back out of the hole, you have to go through orientation, which is a 3-day process. You're in a certain unit for orientation. They teach you how you got to make your bed. They teach you how you got to face the wall and sound off, and they also teach you how you have to display your toilet paper. So in the toilet combo sink, there's a little circular hole. You're supposed to put the toilet paper in where the circle in the open end is sticking out, right? That's the way it's meant to go. No, not in Clayton County Jail. You take the end edge of the toilet paper where you've torn it off, you fold it into a corner where it's a V. And there was the officer, I can't remember his name, but he was the orientation officer. And he would always say, when you fold it into a V, the V is for Victor. This motherfucker had us folding our toilet paper into a V because the V was for Victor. Jesus fucking Christ. Hey, bro, fuck Mikey. Hashtag it. See you tots it. I enjoy the jail stories. I got a ton of them, but um, if I get off on those, man, I'm one of those people that I tend to obsess over certain things, right? I like let's talk. I can talk about Charles Manson for hours. I can talk about his case for hours. A guy a couple of months ago, I researched Charles Manson years ago. Um, I can tell you just about every detail of Charles Manson's case. Um, and like a month or two ago, somebody at work mentioned Charles Manson. For the next 3 days, I was constantly like going back over some old Manson videos. I was talking about Charles Manson. Like I tend to obsess over certain things if they get stuck in my mind. And if I start talking about jail, which I already have, I will definitely obsess over it for probably the next 12 hours. Well, for the next maybe hour and a half, and then I'll go to sleep, and then I'll wake up in about 8 hours, and I will obsess over it for about 10 or 12 hours, and then it'll probably I'll move on to something else. But I did. I talked the West Memphis Three. I don't know. What's Takedown Exposing Frauditors? That's the fucking channel that I was talking about. That's even fucking more insignificant than mine. Hey man, how you doing? I like the way you just take a video, chop it up, and stew the narrative, bro. If that's your fucking thing, then good job. You don't always have to tell the truth. Hell, if you want to entertain, bro. No, absolutely not. That's another case that I went through way, way before I went to jail. I was deep diving into that case in probably 2010 and 11. I think they got out in 2011, and it was like a year or so before that I took a deep dive into that case. Um, I believe it was Stevie Branch's stepfather, Terry Hobbs. Uh, I won't say he's a killer, but I'll say, in my opinion, and that's not. I've thought that way before the movie The Devil's Knot came out. I think they put a documentary out. Um, oh yeah, the last West Memphis Three documentary, whatever it was called, was mainly pointing the finger at Terry Hobbs. But with those documentaries, they didn't help those boys. The first documentary, I believe, helped release them in the end, but it also did a lot of damage to them for years. The second and third documentary, the third documentary didn't hurt them. That was the one where they came out. It's the second documentary about the West Memphis Three, uh, west of Memphis, maybe I think it was called, that I believe hurt them for years, where they tried to point the finger at Michael Byers, uh, Chris Byers, the victim, Chris Byers, his father. They tried or stepfather. They tried to point the finger at him, um, and I think they hurt the West Memphis Three with that for years by trying to, and eventually even Mr. Byers, I forget his first name, whether it was Michael. I'm thinking Michael Myers, but I know it's not Michael Byers. Um, but the Byers guy, he eventually he joined the West Memphis Three's team. You know, at one point in the first documentary, he's pouring gasoline on mock graves and lighting them on fire, and sending their souls to hell for what they did to them boys. And then by the last documentary, he's out there with signs, "Free the West Memphis Three." Uh, but I think that because let's see, what was that website? There's a website where it's not just that case. There's many cases on there, but they have every piece of evidence, right? So every interview, uh, everything except for like pictures. They just didn't have like crime scene photos or things like that. Um, but they had every interview. They had every bit of um, text paperwork on the case on there. I'm trying to remember what it was called. I went through that so much. Um, Jacoby, who was Terry Hobbs' friend. Like I'm a lot of this is coming back to me. Now I'm running. Jesus Christ! For 3 days, I'll be on the West Memphis Three, going back through it. Oh man. Anyways, guys, I appreciate you guys. There's 9 of you left in here. Um, most of you aren't talking, so you're probably screenshotting and want to react to it. Hey, I don't care. Give me some more exposure. Uh, but for anybody that sat and enjoyed listening to me, or interacted with me, or has supported me through any of my situations, thank you. I appreciate you. KTZ, thank you for letting me tell my story on your channel, and giving me a platform to finally get that out after years of keeping it in. Um, I know it was 7 months ago, but uh, it means a lot, and it's getting a lot of traction now. And I hope a lot more people come over there and not only watch that, but subscribe to your channel. For the rest of you, good night. Happy hunting. Love you. God bless Jesus. God bless Buddha. Whatever you believe in. Hey, Michael Kiser, fuck you.